All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful and, honestly, most misunderstood tools in your entire design kit, light. It's so often just an afterthought, right? Well, today, we're going to change that. We're going to make it your first, most intentional choice. You've seen this happen. A room with incredible furniture, perfect colors, beautiful textures, that just feels dead. Why? Because light is what breathes life into a space. It really is the soul of the room. Bad lighting can totally ruin every other decision you've made, but trying to get it right can feel so abstract. So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you go from that gut feeling of a space that's lit perfectly to a solid, repeatable plan that you can use on every single project? Well, the answer is you have to learn to speak the language of light. It's how you stop guessing and start designing with total confidence. So here's our game plan. First, we'll touch on why this matters so much. Then, we're going to learn the basic language. After that, we'll connect the light at the source to what actually hits a surface, build a super simple formula you can use anywhere, and finally, we'll see how all this science actually makes your art even better. Okay, first things first. Lighting is not just decoration. It's a fundamental part of the architecture. It dictates how you use a space, how you feel in that space, and how comfortable it is. It literally shapes everything. Look, anybody can get lucky with lighting once in a while, but to be a truly great designer, you have to create it intentionally, every single time. And that means you have to move from just guessing to actually knowing. You need a system, and to build that system, we need a shared vocabulary. So let's build that vocabulary right now. There are really three core units you absolutely have to know: lumen, lux, and candela. I promise, once you get these three, it will fundamentally change how you look at every single project. First up, we have lumens. The absolute easiest way to think about this is just raw power. It's the total amount of light a bulb or fixture blasts out in every single direction. Think of it like a watering can. Lumens are the total amount of water you have inside that can, just ready to go. Okay, next up is lux. So if lumens are the total water inside the can, lux is the amount of water that actually lands on the plant. See the difference? Lux measures the light that arrives at a specific surface: your desk, the kitchen counter, the book you're reading. This is what our eyes actually perceive as brightness. And finally, there is candela. This one's all about intensity in a single, specific direction. It's super important for things like spotlights or track lighting in a gallery. But for what we're doing today, calculating the overall light in a room, we're really going to focus on that crucial link between lumens and lux. And this right here, this brings us to the most important concept in this entire explainer. How does the light you start with from the source, the lumens, turn into the light we actually see and use on a surface, the lux? This is where all that theory becomes super practical. And this diagram shows the basic idea perfectly. In a perfect little bubble, the relationship is dead simple. You've got one lumen of light, and when it hits a 1 square meter surface that's 1 meter away, you get exactly 1 lux. It's a nice, clean 1-to-1 deal. But our rooms are not perfect little bubbles, because distance changes everything. Seriously, this slide is the key to it all. At 1 meter away, you see we have a bright 100 lux. Now look what happens when we just double that distance to 2 meters. Does the brightness get cut in half? Nope. It absolutely plummets down to 25 lux. That's a 75% drop. And by 3 meters, we're down to a measly 11.1. This isn't a gentle slope, my friends. It's a cliff. So, the huge takeaway here is this: the distance between your light source and your target surface is the single most powerful factor you have to deal with. It's the reason why a really powerful bulb on a super high ceiling can still make a room feel kind of gloomy. So what do we do with this? How do we take this knowledge and actually use it? Well, let's turn all this theory into a practical, powerful design formula that's going to give you so much more control and confidence on your projects. Here it is, the core formula. And don't worry, the math is super simple. 1 lux is just 1 lumen spread over 1 square meter. We can just flip that around to make it useful for us. The total lumens you need is simply your target lux level multiplied by the area of your room. That's it. So this gives us a simple 3-step recipe for any space. Step 1, you measure the area of the room in square meters. Easy. Step 2, you decide what the room is for to choose your desired lux level. And step 3, you just multiply those two numbers together. The answer you get is the total lumen output you need from all your light fixtures in that room combined. So, how do you pick that desired lux level? It's all about what you're going to be doing in the space. A cozy living room where you just want to relax and watch a movie needs way less light than a kitchen. For things like reading or chopping vegetables or any kind of detailed work, you need a much higher lux level. It's about comfort, focus, and honestly, safety. Okay, let's make this real. Imagine you're designing this reading nook, and it's about 3 square meters. We know reading is a task, right? It needs good, bright light. So we look at a chart and pick a high lux target. Let's say 500 lux. Now we just do the math. 3 square meters times our 500 lux target, that's 1500. Boom, that's the total lumens your light fixture needs to put out. It's that simple. No more guessing. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Great, so now interior design is just a math problem? No, absolutely not. Let's talk about how this science is here to serve your art, not get in its way. Think about it like this. The calculation we just did, that's your functional baseline. It makes sure the space is actually usable for its purpose. That's the science. Your creative design, that's the artistic layer you put right on top of that foundation. That's where you play with light and shadow to create mood and drama and feeling. So, the big idea to take away from all this is simple. Learning this language doesn't put your creativity in a box. It does the exact opposite. It gives you the technical precision to take that vision that's in your head and make it a reality, reliably, every single time. So you've gone from guessing to knowing. You now have the science to back up your art. And the real question is, what kind of mood, what kind of feeling, what kind of story are you going to tell with light now?